the cabinet that we formed has performed quite well, despite the fact that many of the members are very new. They have been in the opposition for 60 years, and yet they are able to change and become the government. But of course there's some difficulty. They still sometimes feel as if they are in the opposition. That is political. The country, I think, still feels quite happy with the change of government. Change of government is something they want, and there is a change. And to a certain extent, we have achieved the objective. The first objective that we have achieved is to avoid corruption. Today, people don't complain so much about corruption. The corruption that is being investigated or the corruption that occurred during the time of the previous government. Now we don't have people complaining that they have difficulties doing anything because of the demand to be paid some payment, extra payment and all that. And people are getting their approvals much more quickly than before. That to us is also an achievement. That people are quite happy to have us, of course, is something that we value. Of course, there are complaints, there are criticism. This criticism comes from the very people who before created all the problems. They created the problems. So what we are doing is we are trying to resolve the problems created by them. They borrowed money by the billions. They punished people for not supporting them, shifted them around, took away their jobs and all that. These are the people who are now criticizing us. We don't do such things. We have removed quite a lot of people who are openly corrupt. We have evidence about them and we take action against them. And there are a lot of other things that we have done, like we have dealt with the money borrowed on the ECRL. We have saved more than 21 billion really. This has not been achieved by anybody else. Where people got caught in these contracts where the money paid is to be borrowed, they have not been able to revise the agreement. We have also resolved the problem of Bandar Malaysia. So all these are achievements made by the government. Of course, we don't go around shouting about it all the time, but there are achievements nevertheless. Well, we promised to abolish the toll, but we now realize, before when we decided to abolish, we didn't understand the cost. But now we realize that to abolish the toll means the government has to buy all the highways. And that costs a lot of money. Plus alone, the government has to pay $30 billion before the government can say no tolls will be corrected. So the question is, do we use $30 billion for that, or do we use $30 billion if we have for other much more important purpose? And then if you abolish the toll, you earn nothing from the usage of the highway, but we have to maintain the highway, and the maintenance costs run into billions again. And then if we have to build another highway, we have to do it by the government, a government cost, because we cannot collect tolls, and therefore private sector will not invest in new highways because they can earn nothing from that. That will amplify our financial problem. So at this moment, we find it very difficult to implement a promise that was made without full knowledge of the extent of the cost and the damage that can be done, that will be done. So that is one of the things that we promise, but we cannot do. There are other promises which we find it difficult to do. We will have to study how we can implement the death penalty, for example. And quite a number of things are now opposed by a lot of people because they feel that it is detrimental to their interest. Ya, memang kerajaan dahulu mereka beri duit yang banyak kepada macam-macam golongan. Nelayan dapat gaji, kalau tak ada ikan pun dapat gaji RM300 sebulan. Bachelors dapat RM450 sebulan. Beri, bagi duit lagi. Macam-macam orang dapat duit. Kalau kita nak aman benda yang semacam itu, samalah kita juga korak macam tu lah. Nak beli sokongan dengan memberi wang, itu rasuah. Kita tak boleh buat macam itu dan kita tak ada duit pun nak buat. Pasal kita tak curi duit. Kita tak ada duit nak bagi. Jadi ramai yang dulu dapat banyak duit, walaupun mereka benci kepada kerjaan yang lama, tapi kerjaan yang baru ni tak bagi duit. Jadi mereka kecewa. Pasal apa? Dulu dapat 450, sekarang dapat 100 saja. Jadi ada yang berpendapat bahawa kerjaan ini akan menghalang pemberian wang oleh pihak tertentu kepada pegawai tertentu. Mereka dapat seolah-olah gaji kerana mereka tidak tutup mata berkenaan dengan jenayah yang dilakukan. Sekarang ini mereka tak dapat gaji allowance daripada orang ini setiap bulan. Jadi mereka berasa kecewa dengan kerjaan ini. Masa dulu boleh juga dapat duit, lah ni tak boleh dapat duit, kena tindakan. Jadi dengan kerana itu mereka hanya bergantung kepada gaji mereka saja. Dan memanglah semua orang kata kalau dia millionaire pun dia kata dia duit tak cukup. Itu tabiat manusia. Tapi di sini kita dapati orang yang sekarang ini tak dapat duit kerana anti rasuah ini, mereka marah kepada kerajaan. Dulu boleh dapat, ini lah ni tak boleh dapat. So kita punya sokongan kita dapati merosot di kalangan kumpulan-kumpulan tertentu yang terkenal kerana mereka memang pun bukan saja dapat gaji tapi dapat gaji ekstra daripada tunjangan. Itulah sebabnya, sebagian dari sebabnya kita lihat undi kepada parti PH Mozart. The fact is that the previous government tried to do what previous government did, you see, and they failed. So we will do it in the proper way, not through corruption, not through giving contracts to cronies, not asking contract price to be increased in order to take money. Those are the things that they do. But we have to do the same thing without the corruption. So there is a difference. So it's not just doing what they have done. Any government will have to do certain things. And we are doing what is necessary, what is our responsibility as a government, but without the corruption, without the cronyism and that kind of thing. That is what we have done. And I think we are different because in many cases in the ECRL, It took us almost a year to renegotiate the contract. The contract was very, very bad because the contract is given to a Chinese company from China simply because we borrow money from China. And we borrowed more money than we should. And then on the top of it, all payments are made in China, not made in Malaysia. All profits are made in China and not made in Malaysia. We cannot tax you. So the terms of the contract was very bad. We don't do that. We go back to proper practices. The rightful way of entering into contract. We do due diligence before we enter into any contract. So it's not right to say that we are doing what the previous government did. I would say about out of 10, 5 I think would be about 50%. I'm very conservative because I have been in the government for 22 years. I know how government functions. But these people are new. They don't know how government functions. On the top of it, they are so afraid of being accused of wrongdoing. And all these things make decision making by them more difficult. But they are learning very fast. Yes, sometimes they have to come to me because I had that experience. And I try to teach them, I try to guide them so that they can perform. But they are performing. I don't see any reason why I should restructure the cabinet. And I believe that eventually they are going to be as good as any experienced members. There will be no cabinet reshuffle. Am I clear? Well, sometimes they do something that without consulting me, that means that should not be done, creating some minor problems and all that. But they learn. Sometimes, of course, when they get bad publicity because of what they do, then they come to me to ask what should really be done. And as the Prime Minister, it is my duty to listen to them, to their problems, and to give guidance. That's what the whole system of cabinet is, that while you have the Prime Minister sitting as the chairman, the others are not barred from making their own decisions. But if they find difficulties, they have a right to see the Prime Minister. Sometimes, of course, they make statements which are not very good, but they are learning.
You see any
The benefit of age, actually there's no benefit at all. At my age, I should be doddering, talking nonsense. But there's no benefit there. But experience, yes. I had more experience than most people. 22 years as Prime Minister is something that is a good experience that teaches me a lot. It is too costly at the moment. We don't have money. We have to cut down on the construction. So we will have to take time. We know it is useful, but even if it is useful, for example, it will be a great thing if we can have a high-speed train from Singapore to Hanyai, but we don't have the money. We can borrow the money, then we'll have problem with financing. So everything depends on circumstances. It's easy to promise, but when you come in and become responsible, you find that you have to abide by the exigencies of the situation that we are faced with. I have made this promise that I will step down and give way to Dr. Sri Anwar.
Yeah.
That is something that is quite definite.
Yeah.
There is no talk about who is going to be or what is going to be done. And when somebody takes over from me, he is not required to follow my instruction or to follow what I have done. He is free to do what he thinks is best as the Prime Minister. So I have no say about what happens after. My job is to prepare the country as much as possible so that it can be taken over by my successor.